What? Terence Crawford thinks about losing the fight to Errol Spence? Is this the kind of champion that you guys want to see for the welterweight division at 147 pounds? Is that your champion? I'm just kidding. Obviously, this has been a headline. This has been the topic for, you know, the news media, boxing media, within the worlds of the sport, combat sports world. People are talking about Terence Crawford, about how he said, you know, losing does sometimes cross my mind, but, you know, it doesn't take away from the fact that I know what I can do, stuff like that. But people are just like taking that clip and just making a big deal, blowing it out of proportion, in my opinion. People are saying that, you know, champions don't think like that. Champions would never say losing crossed my mind. If I go in the gym and I ask a fighter if they think about losing, what do you think they're going to say? They're going to obviously say, I never think about losing. Losing isn't an option. Guys, it's Terence Crawford. He's the most accomplished 147 pounder alongside Errol Spence. He's vulnerable. He's a human being. He's been this successful. He's had doubts before. Losing crosses his mind. But look at where he's got to. So you guys can't take so much away from, oh, Terence Crawford is saying that he thinks about losing. It's crossed his mind. It doesn't mean anything, because at the end of the day, his preparation, I'm sure he trained harder for this fight than any of his other fights. All these fighters always say, oh, I trained the same way throughout, you know, any training camp. I train the same for any opponent. For any opponent, I'll train as hard as I can, no matter what. But at the end of the day, when you want to win a fight so badly, you're training harder than you ever have for any of your other fights. I don't care if it's before or after. Any of your other fights, you trained harder for this fight than any other fight because of the anticipation. Everyone's saying Terence Crawford's going to lose. Everyone's saying Errol Spence is going to lose. So obviously these fighters are going to have so much more of a chip on their shoulder than they've ever had. They've never had this much fire, this much gas in the tank, this much motivation to beat another man on a Saturday night than they do right now. Mental health is important. There are fighters that have talked about it. Ryan Garcia, for example. I think Jermall Charlo, one of those brothers have talked about it. I can't remember exactly, but excuse me for that. But mental health is something that, you know, all these fighters have talked about. It's a lonely sport. Take Teofimo Lopez, who has had, you know, his moments as well. It's not easy. It's the loneliest sport in the world. It's not easy to be a fighter, because at the end of the day, everyone wants to see you lose. And when you're winning, everyone wants to be near you. But when you take that first loss, where does everybody go? Where did everybody go? Take Ryan Garcia. What happened before the fight? Everyone was hyping him up. Everyone was a part of his team. When he took the loss to Tank, when he got stopped, no one was around him at that press conference. It was his family and close friends. That was it. His circle got even smaller. Because we know how everybody likes to support the winner. We don't care about the loser anymore. That's what fuels Terence Crawford to think this way, because he knows that. He's dealt with it. He's experienced it. He's seen it, where people don't treat you the same when you're at the top. When you're at your lowest point, then you find out who's real around you. But to say that Terence Crawford is scared, to say that he's vulnerable, sure. But he's still a monster in that ring. There's a switch that he's even stated he struggles to turn that switch off, because he's so determined, so motivated, has such a big chip on his shoulder that he's willing to look all past that, willing to look past the doubts. And he stopped everybody at 147, but he has doubts. You know, that's the stuff. Mike Tyson has said that he was scared fighting. He was scared fighting. He'd get terrified. But we know he's a killer in the ring. All those knockout wins, Mike Tyson. But he was scared in the ring? I don't take anything away from the fact that boxers have emotions. They're people at the end of the day. We look at them like superheroes, which is why it's so hard for us to accept when boxers have emotions. Wait, you're a monster? I've talked to so many boxers. I've met so many fighters, and they're so human. They show so much humility, because at the end of the day, they go home to their families. What's motivating them? Their friends, their families, themselves. Humans. People that feel emotions. There's no reason to take away from Terence Crawford because he's feeling a certain way. It doesn't mean that he's not going to go in there and put on a great show He could even win the fight. I got Errol Spence. You guys know that's my pick, but I'm being real on this situation. Terence Crawford thinks about losing. That's everyone thinks. Who doesn't think about losing? Obviously, it's not an option when you're training, when you're in that fight mode, when you're in that fight camp. You don't think about that while you're working out, stuff like that. But when you're alone with your thoughts, I can't imagine not thinking about losing. You know, that's just anybody. That's what drives the success is sometimes that fear of failure. So, man, I don't take too much away from it. Saturday night, it's going to be a tremendous bout between two great fighters, two of the best welterweights we've seen in a while, maybe since, Floyd and Manny. These are top tier welterweights. The four kings, Hearns, Sugar Ray Leonard, everything you want. These are the fighters. Hagler. These are the guys. That's our generation. We're going to get to witness it Saturday night, so I'm excited for it. Terence Crawford and Errol Spence. I got Errol Spence by stoppage in the 10th round, but I think it's going to be a great fight. Let me know in the comments who you guys got. Like, comment, subscribe. Hit that post notification bell so you guys don't miss a thing. And thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for the constant support. I appreciate it always. Peace.
That's going to do it for another NASFight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.